Disclaimer: this story explores mature emotional themes, including love, self-discovery, and personal relationships. It does not contain explicit material. Viewer discretion is advised. It started subtly. A sleepover here, a last-minute stay there. At first, I thought nothing of it, just two best friends, inseparable since college, doing what young women do. But then, weeks turned into months, and before I knew it, Alex had practically moved in. My daughter, Emily, had always been independent, confident. She had an easygoing nature that made people gravitate toward her. Alex, on the other hand, was a bit more reserved, polite, sweet, always offering to help with dishes or running errands. I liked her. Maybe that was why I never questioned it. Until now. It was a Saturday evening, and I was curled up in the living room with a book, barely paying attention to the soft murmurs drifting from Emily's room. Laughter. The kind that felt a little too warm, a little too familiar. Then, a pause, silence stretched just a second too long. Something stirred in me. A feeling I couldn't quite place. I had always assumed Emily and Alex were just best friends. But lately, the way they looked at each other, the way Emily's voice softened when she said Alex's name, I wasn't so sure anymore. I didn't pry. I never had to. Emily had always been open with me. But something was different this time, like she was keeping a secret she wasn't ready to share. Then came the moment that changed everything. It was past midnight when I walked into the kitchen for a glass of water. The house was dark except for the faint glow spilling from the hallway. That's when I saw them. Standing close. Too close. Emily's hand brushed against Alex's cheek, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was tender, intimate in a way that made my breath catch. And Alex, she leaned into the touch, her lips parting slightly, as if waiting, hoping. I froze. My heart pounded. Not in shock, not in disapproval, but in realization. This wasn't just friendship. This was something more. Something real. I backed away before they could see me, my mind racing. Had Emily been trying to tell me all along? Had I just been too blind to see it? I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was upset, but because I knew, deep down, this was a conversation we needed to have. And soon. But the real question was Emily ready to have it with me? I woke up with a weight in my chest. The kind that lingers even before your eyes fully open. I had spent the night turning over every memory, every moment, every lingering glance I had ignored. How had I not seen it before? Emily wasn't just my daughter. She was my little girl, the one I had raised, comforted through heartbreaks and celebrated through triumphs. And yet, when it came to this part of her, I had been completely blind. The smell of coffee drifted through the air, pulling me from my thoughts. I stepped into the kitchen, half expecting things to feel different. But there they were, Emily and Alex, sitting at the table, laughing over something on their phones. For a second, it was just another morning. But then Alex looked up. Our eyes met. And in that moment, I knew. It wasn't just Emily who had been keeping a secret. Alex's smile faltered, just slightly, before she smoothed it over with a sip of coffee. Emily didn't notice. But I did. She knew I had seen. And I wasn't sure what to do with that. I moved to the coffee pot, forcing my voice to stay even. You're still here, Alex. Don't you have classes today? Emily glanced at Alex before answering for her. We both have online lectures this morning. She paused, studying me. Why? Why? Because I had just watched my daughter tuck a stray piece of hair behind Alex's ear like she was the most precious thing in the world. Because I had seen Alex lean into her touch like it was the only thing keeping her standing. Because I wasn't just Emily's mother anymore, I was someone witnessing something bigger than friendship, bigger than casual sleepovers. But I couldn't say that. Instead, I just shook my head, forcing a small smile. No reason. Emily went back to scrolling on her phone, but Alex kept watching me, her expression unreadable. Later that afternoon, when Emily stepped out to pick up lunch, I finally had her alone. Alex was rinsing out her coffee cup when I spoke. You don't have to lie to me. She froze, her fingers tightening around the ceramic. Slowly, she set the cup down, turning to face me. Her expression was careful, measured. I don't know what you mean. I sighed, folding my arms. I know, Alex. She swallowed, her throat bobbing slightly. Know what? I stepped closer, lowering my voice. I saw you two last night. Something flickered across her face, fear, hesitation, something else I couldn't quite name. She looked away. Emily should be the one to tell you. And I knew she was right. I nodded, taking a slow breath. Just answer me one thing. Alex hesitated. Do you love her? The words left my mouth before I could stop them. But once they were out, there was no taking them back. Alex blinked, her lips parting slightly, like she hadn't expected the question. Then, slowly, so softly I almost missed it, she whispered yes. Something in my chest cracked. Not in sadness. Not in disappointment. But in something that felt dangerously close to understanding. Before I could respond, the front door opened. Emily's voice filled the house. Mom, Alex, I brought food. Alex stepped back, breaking our gaze as Emily walked in, completely unaware of the moment that had just passed between us. I glanced at Alex one last time. And suddenly I knew. This wasn't just a moment. This was the beginning of something much bigger. For the rest of the afternoon, I watched them. Not in an obvious way, but in the way a mother notices the small things, the way Emily's fingers lingered on Alex's wrist when she passed her a drink, the way Alex looked at her when she thought no one was watching. It was all there, hidden in plain sight. I just wasn't sure if Emily knew I had finally seen it. Dinner was quiet, the clinking of silverware filling the space between us. Emily, completely at ease, chatted about work, her upcoming projects, plans for the weekend. Alex, on the other hand, was different, more careful, more measured. She wasn't just answering my questions. She was gauging me, testing whether I was okay with what I knew. I wasn't upset. Not in the way she might have feared. But something was unsettled inside me, something I couldn't name just yet. Then, without warning, the moment cracked. My phone buzzed on the counter. I reached for it absently, glancing at the screen. The name flashing across it made my stomach tighten. Lisa. I hesitated before answering, keeping my voice light. Hey, Lisa. Emily's fork paused midair. Lisa, my sister, her aunt, was calling about a family gathering next weekend. I barely heard the details because I could feel the weight of Emily's stare. Yeah, I'll bring a dish, I said absently, then added, Emily might bring Alex, too. Silence. I felt it the second Emily's breath hitched. It was so brief that anyone else might have missed it, but I didn't. Lisa's voice was smooth, casual. Oh! Alex, huh? A pause. She's been around a lot. There it was. That tone. The kind that wasn't outright unkind, but laced with something underneath. I pressed my lips together. Yeah, she's a big part of Emily's life. My voice was even, deliberate. A warning. Lisa got the message. She laughed lightly. Of course. Can't wait to see them both. When I hung up, the silence stretched too long. Emily finally spoke, her voice careful. You didn't have to say that. I met her gaze. Say what? She set down her fork, studying me like she was trying to read between my words. That Alex is a big part of my life. My heart ached. She doesn't know I know. Alex cleared her throat, her voice soft. I should clean up. She stood, reaching for her plate, but I stopped her with a quiet, firm, no. She froze. So did Emily. I took a breath, my pulse steady but loud. You don't have to run every time things get uncomfortable, Alex. Emily's eyes snapped to mine. She knows. Alex swallowed, then nodded slowly, setting the plate back down. Tension hung in the air, thick and heavy. And for the first time, we were all sitting in the same truth. The silence was suffocating. Emily's grip tightened around her fork, her knuckles pale. Alex stood motionless, the plate still clutched in her hands, as if setting it down would make this moment real. I wasn't sure who would break first. Then, Emily did. Her chair scraped against the floor as she pushed back abruptly, standing so fast the table shook. What was that? Her voice was low but sharp, cutting through the room like a wire drawn too tight. I held her gaze. You tell me. Her breath hitched. Alex exhaled softly, setting the plate down with careful precision, her every movement deliberate, controlled. Too controlled. Emily turned on her, her voice trembling. Did you tell her? Alex looked stricken. No, I swear. Then how? Emily turned back to me, her expression searching, almost pleading. How long? I swallowed. Last night. Her lips parted slightly, like she hadn't expected the answer to hurt, but it did. And what, you just knew? I nodded. I saw the way you looked at her, sweetheart. My voice softened, but the weight of it didn't. And the way she looks at you. Emily's face went pale. Mom. Alex took a step closer, hesitant. Emily. But Emily shook her head, a humorless laugh escaping her lips. Unbelievable. She turned away, pressing her hands against the counter like she needed it to hold her up. I took a slow breath, steadying myself. Why didn't you tell me? Emily's shoulders tensed. Because I didn't know how you'd react. That stung. Not because she was wrong, but because she had been right to wonder. Alex finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. Emily was scared. Emily turned sharply, her voice breaking. I wasn't scared. Alex flinched. But we all knew it was a lie. Emily's breath came out in uneven gasps, her eyes glassy with emotions she didn't know where to put. I didn't want you to look at me differently. My heart cracked. I stepped forward, my voice firm but shaking. Emily, I could never. She held up a hand, stopping me. You say that now. Her eyes flicked between me and Alex, her guard still up. But what about later? Alex reached for her. Emily stepped back. I need air. Then, before either of us could stop her, she grabbed her keys and bolted out the door. The house was silent. Alex exhaled, rubbing her temples. She's panicking. I nodded, my chest tight. She needs space. Alex hesitated. And what about you? I met her gaze, the weight of the moment settling in. I just realized how much I still don't know about my own daughter. And for the first time, I was scared, too. The clock on the wall ticked, each second stretching unbearably. Alex ran a hand through her short dark hair, exhaling shakily. Should I go after her? I hesitated. Give her a minute. But that minute turned into 5. Then 10. Then 20. Something wasn't right. I reached for my phone, my fingers tight around the device as I dialed Emily's number. The line rang. Once. Twice. Then, voicemail. I swallowed hard, my pulse kicking up. She's not picking up. Alex's jaw tightened. I'll check outside. She grabbed her jacket and was out the door before I could stop her. I followed, my chest tight. The night air was crisp, the street quiet except for the distant hum of passing cars. But Emily's car wasn't in the driveway. She drove off, Alex murmured. A sinking feeling took root in my stomach. Emily wasn't reckless. She wasn't the type to storm out without at least telling someone where she was going. Then, my phone buzzed. A text. From Emily. My hands shook as I read it aloud. I need space. Please don't come looking for me. Alex paled. That doesn't sound like her. She was right. Emily had never run from me like this. Not even after her father left. Alex turned to me, her voice urgent. Does she have anywhere she'd go? Somewhere she feels safe. I tried to think, to sort through memories too clouded by fear. Maybe, then my phone buzzed again. This time, my breath caught in my throat. Because the message wasn't from Emily. It was from Lisa. I need to see you. Now. It's about Emily. I read it twice, my brain struggling to process the words. Alex took one look at my face and tensed. What is it? I looked up at her, my stomach in knots. Lisa knows something. Alex's eyes darkened. Then we go. Without another word, we rushed to the car. Lisa's house was dark except for the faint glow from the living room window. My heart pounded as Alex and I stepped up to the front door. Before I could knock, Lisa pulled it open. Her expression was tight, her usually warm eyes clouded with something unreadable. Where's Emily? I demanded. Lisa hesitated. She's here. But there's something you need to know before you see her. Alex stiffened. What is it? Lisa sighed, running a hand through her hair. She came to me because she was scared. Not of you. Not of anything you did. But because she stopped herself, choosing her words carefully. She's been keeping something from you. My stomach twisted. Keeping what from me? Lisa motioned us inside. Emily sat curled up on the couch, her arms wrapped around herself. Her face was blotchy, her eyes red from crying. The second she saw us, her lip trembled. "Mom," she whispered, her voice breaking. I rushed to her, but she shook her head, keeping space between us. "I need to say this," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't know how to tell you. I was scared. But I can't keep running." Alex moved closer. "Emily, whatever it is, you can tell us." She exhaled shakily. She glanced at Lisa, who nodded. And then she turned to Alex. "I love you." The words hung in the air like a thunderclap. Alex went completely still. Emily swallowed hard, her hands twisting together. "I've loved you for a long time. But I was afraid of what it would mean. Of what it would change. I didn't want to lose you." She blinked back tears. "And I definitely didn't want to hurt you, Mom." My breath caught in my throat. Emily let out a shaky laugh. I know. It's stupid, right? Thinking you'd be upset? You've always been supportive. But when it's your daughter, it's different. And she wiped her face. "I didn't want to disappoint you." Tears burned in my own eyes. I reached out, cupping her face gently. "Emily, sweetheart, you could never disappoint me." Her face crumbled, and suddenly she was in my arms, sobbing against my shoulder. I looked up at Alex. She was frozen, still processing, her expression unreadable. Then, she took a slow step forward. "Emily," she said softly. Emily pulled back just enough to look at her. Alex exhaled, then, without hesitation, cupped Emily's face in her hands and kissed her. It was soft, tentative, but deep. Emily gasped into it, then melted. When they finally broke apart, Alex pressed her forehead to Emily's and whispered, "I love you too." A breath of relief rushed out of me. Lisa chuckled. "Well, that's one way to resolve things." We all laughed, the weight in the room finally lifting. Emily was home. And she was loved. Emily sat back, her eyes searching Alex's face as if still trying to process everything. Alex held her hand, giving it a small squeeze, grounding her in the moment. I exhaled, realizing I had been holding my breath. "Emily," I said gently, "I need you to hear me when I say this. You never have to be afraid to tell me who you are. Never." Tears welled in her eyes again, but this time, they weren't from fear. They were from relief. "I know," she whispered. I spent so long worrying about what would happen if I said it out loud." Lisa, who had been leaning against the doorway, smiled warmly. "Funny thing about the truth, it has a way of setting you free." Emily let out a breathy laugh, shaking her head. "I can't believe I was so scared." Alex nudged her playfully. "You could have told me, you know." Emily bit her lip, her cheeks flushing. "I was going to. Eventually." Alex grinned. "Sure, like in another 5 years?" We all laughed, the tension in the room dissolving into something lighter. I reached for Emily's hand, squeezing it tight. "You are loved. Not just by Alex, but by me. Always." Her lip trembled, and she threw her arms around me. "I love you, Mom." "I love you too, sweetheart." Lisa clapped her hands together. "Well, this has been one emotional night. Who wants tea?" We all did. And as we sat in Lisa's cozy kitchen, drinking from mismatched mugs and sharing quiet smiles, I realized that this moment, this love, this acceptance, was all Emily had ever needed. A fresh start. A new beginning. And she had it. 1 year later, the house was buzzing with energy. Laughter, clinking glasses, the hum of soft music in the background. Emily and Alex had moved in together a few months ago, and tonight, we were celebrating. It wasn't an anniversary or a holiday, it was simply a night to be together. Lisa handed me a glass of wine as I took in the sight before me. Emily, happy and glowing, was wrapped up in Alex's arms, whispering something that made her girlfriend throw her head back in laughter. A year ago, my daughter had been afraid. Afraid to love, afraid to live as herself. But now, she was free. And that was everything. As the night stretched on, I realized something important. Love doesn't come with conditions. It doesn't ask for permission. It just is. And for Emily, for Alex, for all of us, this was just the beginning. Did you enjoy the story? Let us know in the comments. What kind of stories would you like to hear next? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming stories.